Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to have another talk about speculation for the future of Kill Team. So, the last time I did a video like this, it was one of the more popular videos on the channel. Just to make it really clear, I've got no inside information. This is just my way of looking at things and putting them together and assembling what we know and then making some fun predictions. So, we were shown this graphic way back when, promising us that we would get 4 releases this year. We now know that 3 of those, Octorius, Chalnath, and the upcoming Nachmund box, and we've been promised 1 more box to come out April, May, June next year. And it's now pretty clear, with what we've seen from Nachmund, that the box is going to have 1 all-new plastic team, 1 plastic team with an upgrade sprue, and 1 reprinted terrain set. And we can be pretty certain about that, I feel, because that's the pattern that's been established now by both Chalnath and Nachmund. I know Octorius had all new stuff, but Octorius was a different product. It was a launch box at a higher price point. I feel very certain that this 3rd box is going to have 1 all new plastic team, 1 plastic team with an upgrade sprue, and 1 reprinted terrain set. For White Dwarf teams, we really don't know. For a little while, we thought we were going to get 2 White Dwarf teams a quarter. Then we thought we were going to get 1 White Dwarf team a quarter. And now I'm just not sure where we're at with that. We've got 4 White Dwarf teams, so maybe we've had all 4 for the year, but we've just had 1 early, or coming out next month, due to kind of logistics and printing. Maybe it was supposed to be 2 a quarter and 1's been pushed back. We don't know. We could get 0 more White Dwarf teams this year, we could get 1, we could get 2. It's really all very much up in the air as to how many White Dwarf teams we can expect. So, first of all, just to hit off with some terrain speculation, I was wrong about this last time. I really thought that Nachmund was going to be Deathworld Forest once we found out basically that it was definitely going to be Eldar, because there's all those nice Eldar ruins in the Deathworld Forest set. But now they've basically done Eldar. I don't think they're going to put Dark Eldar into another box so quickly. I think it is definitely going to be recycled terrain. I think Sector Fronteris is the most likely. They have previewed that they're going to be releasing a whole load of new Sector Fronteris at some point soon, like new big structures and things. I don't think will be very well suited for Kill Team, but it would make sense alongside that product to bring the matching low walls and things back into circulation to match in with the new stuff. So I think we're going to see the old Sector Fronteris set in the next Kill Team box coming in the fourth quarter of this sort of 1 year cycle, right? I don't know how useful that big Dawn of War looking square building is. People have told me that it can be assembled differently, assembled broken up. I don't know about that, but certainly the walls look ideal and the little bits of light cover there look ideal as well. I can see how that would nicely map into a Kill Team kill zone. So let's look at what we have here. I've added in purple the things that we've gained since the last time I did one of these speculation videos, and so you can see really there's not that many gaps left to fill in. We're waiting to find out what we're going to get for the Space Marines, the Grey Knights, the Custodes, the Chaos Demons, the Deathguard, the Drukhari, or Dark Eldar to you and me, the Necrons, Kroot, and Tyranid teams. So let's have a look at each of those in turn and try and work out what we think might come out. Space Marines, so I've changed my mind on these. The last time I did one of these videos, I said I thought it was going to be Primaris Scouts. Having seen the Legionaries team, I no longer think that, because I think that Intercessors are an ideal candidate for an upgrade sprue, just like the Chaos Marines and just like the Tower Pathfinders. Veteran Intercessors are a datasheet that's been appearing in various expansions and things as an option. Not really too much fanfare. I think that they could take that Veteran Intercessors idea, run with it, build a squad with a few more options, maybe the option for some kind of special weapon in there, maybe mini characters like a squad medic and a squad tech marine, or Tetramarine, as I appear to have written on the slide. Amazing quality control, as always. Yeah, I really think that is the way forward for Space Marines. I think they're going to be a squad with an upgrade sprue. You could get 5 Primaris Marines and an upgrade sprue in your box, and as long as the upgrade sprue rules made them powerful, that could be a really nice, really quite elite team. But Primaris Marines should be fielded as a 5-man squad. I feel they should be, and then they need to be made that powerful so that doesn't suck. Okay, that's where they need to be going with those. Grey Knights, I still have no idea. I had no idea last time I did one of these, and I have no idea now. They're just. I really feel like in the lore, Grey Knights are a squad of Terminators that teleport down to fight demons. I don't understand how they kill team, and the fact that the Compendium kill team is the power armored guys, and I don't know. Maybe someone who loves Grey Knights can tell me what they'd love to see from a Grey Knight team. I just don't really see much to add to what they've got. I really don't. Yeah, you could do a White Dwarf list to let them take like a Terminator and some power armored guys, but that's not what they do in the fluff. They don't have any kind of thing like that where they have they're not like Space Wolves. They don't put Terminators in random other squads. I really can't see where they could go with Grey Knights. I think eventually it would have to be a new unit, a new plastic kit. But given how closely, I think, with a couple of exceptions, but generally speaking, the kill team releases have been following the 40k release schedule. And given that Grey Knights, they're not getting a new codex soon, they've kind of had their codex this edition, I just can't. I can't think of anything credible to predict for Grey Knights. Okay. Custodes, I'm sticking with the same prediction I made just last time I did one of these videos for the Custodes. I think it will be a new unit. I think it'll be close to the Venerati. That's really all I have. But I don't think it's likely to be in the next box. I think, genuinely, with one more big box guaranteed, they have to do something with Space Marines. Right, it's ridiculous that the game is as old as it is, and there's not really a credible way to play Imperial Space Marines. I made a whole video on the subject, and the fact that I think that they have to do Space Marines means I don't think they're not going to do a box where it's 2 Imperial factions facing off against each other, so I don't think the Custodes are going to get a look in. The Custodes have had their codex. It would be weird to insert a new unit into their codex this shortly afterward. Not that Games Workshop definitely won't do that, they might, but it just seems really unlikely that they're going to do anything with Custodes to me. Chaos Deamons, I think Chaos Deamons I still think would be an ideal White Dwarf team to let you mix and match from all 4 of the Chaos Gods. I think that would really lend something to the Demon force, because right now it's really hamstrung by its fire team method of creating the teams. Yeah, I thoughts haven't really changed on Deamons. I can't see them getting a plastic set. I can't see that happening. We haven't heard anything about the Demon Codex getting renewed, but I think they're making an ideal White Dwarf team. It just depends how many White Dwarf teams they're intending to make for us, okay? Deathguard! Deathguard are an interesting one that I've thought a lot about recently. So Deathguard have a really good plastic range, but unlike Space Marines, they're slightly less, I feel, slightly less geared towards getting an upgrade kit. Just because their models are slightly less mix and match, they go together in certain ways. All the models kind of flow in a certain way. You know, if you look, for example, here you've got this guy with horns on his head, and then he's got the matching horns coming out of his shoulder pad, and he's got the matching horns coming out of his arm. They just, this guy's got the tongue in his head, and then the tongue coming out of his belly, and then this guy's got a sculpted hose that runs across his body. They just seem far less geared towards the possibility of putting in that extra frame. They kind of came out at the peak of Games Workshop wanting to make really nice but quite unconvertible miniatures, and so I think it'd be really hard to go in and add an upgrade frame to them. They've kind of gone away from that, right? The Chaos Space Marines were pleasingly modular, which means that they have had the upgrade frame. I think that the Deathguard would struggle, so I think they're probably going to get a White Dwarf team. They've got a couple of characters, like the Wormblade have, So potentially you could give them an option to take a couple of the characters, but it's not a big thing for Deathguard. I think really they just benefit from an extra layer of special rules, representing their different plagues and things, and the ability to be a bit more granular. If you wanted to take a couple of Poxwalkers, you could just slide in one or two there, and that might help them out. But I think, again, not really got much to add on Deathguard, except that I think the fact that we know that every other team in a box that's a plastic team is going to be an upgrade sprue makes it slightly less likely that we're going to get a plastic Deathguard team. Drukhari, again, a White Dwarf team, just because the Drukhari Codex is quite new. And again, the plastic teams seem to be quite tied to the 40k release schedule. But I think anything with Drukhari is quite far away, because we've just seen Harlequins and Corsairs come out. So I don't really think they're going to drop a third Eldar team on us that quickly. Drukhari team are one of the better compendium teams, certainly at the moment, so there's not a desperate need for them. It's a bit of a weird one, because in some ways, the Corsairs kind of managed to scratch both the Craft World and the Drukhari itch, because they have design elements, from both. I'm counting them as a tick in the Craft World Eldar column because they're in the Craft World Eldar Codex, so that's the Craft World Eldar team for the Craft World Eldar, and we should still expect the Drukhari team. But I think for a lot of people who like the Drukhari, the itch is kind of going to be scratched by the Corsairs, so maybe Games Workshop isn't in a rush to release this one. Necrons. Yeah, so I made a little video. I mentioned this previously, I think, when the Wormblade came out. Necrons are a team that I really think could get a White Dwarf list, and I really want to add to the point I made last time about the granularity. I could see them getting various characters. So they've got like the Plasmancer and the Chronomancer. I think there's a couple of other Mancers, and then maybe you take one of those and it has an aura, and the aura gives you some kind of benefit, which maybe lets your Necrons move a little bit faster, or maybe it makes it a bit easier for your Necrons to resurrect, depending on who you pick. I think something like that is going to be the way forward with Necrons, and that, to me, that's a really cool idea. It's going to be a shame if Games Workshop don't decide to do it. And as I've said previously, it really leads into their kind of space undead theme, because classically in a fantasy game with undead, you have a powerful leader who augments all his troops, and if you manage to kill the leader, the troops become much, much less effective. But while the leader is alive, the force multiplier allows them to be quite a lot stronger than you might expect them to be. Kroot. If they do Kroot, Kroot's a weird one, because I guess like Harlequins now, it's a sub-faction in another codex, but they've done a Harlequin thing, and the Kroot had a compendium team, so I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that Kroot might get a bespoke team. But I think Kroot need a new plastic kit, because their kit is just kind of too old to take an upgrade kit. I think they need a new plastic kit, and again, because the Tau Codex is now out, and they didn't release a plastic Kroot kit when the Tau book came out, I think maybe it's not coming for a while. That's one of those things where they could surprise me, because there is obviously a Kroot data sleep, so as long as whatever they made in the new Kroot kit was just new versions of existing models, and it could be, then they could bring that out, regardless of the fact that the book's already out. So Kroot are a bit more likely than other things, but I think they're going to be waiting for a little while, because I think they really need a new plastic kit to do them justice. Tyranids. So Vanguard organisms, so Lictors and Genestealers, I think, and also Raveners. But I think this could actually be the next plastic team alongside Space Marines, because they really seem to be tying in their kill team releases with Codex releases. Now, I know that Krieg weren't, and the Sisters weren't, but all the other teams have been. And we know the Tyranid book's coming soon, and we know that they're going to make a plastic Lictor for 40k anyway. And we know that Lictors used to be in Kill Team, and they were the only model that you could play in Kill Team 18, apart from the Commanders, right? But the only thing that you could play in normal core rules Kill Team 18 that you then couldn't play in the new version of Kill Team. So I don't know. I don't think that they will go down the same road of saying here's 4 Lictors, or maybe you will be able to just about do that. But I think you're more likely to get like a Vanguard organism list where you can take Lictors and Genestealers and maybe some Raveners. Genestealers kit's also pretty old, and it could do with being remade, right? They're pretty chunky and old. And Genestealers are a really good candidate for that thing that the Novitiates have, and that the not the Commandos. there's another team I'm thinking of, but they're a really good candidate for that thing of having lots of options on the sprue that do different things in 40k that do different things in Kill Team rather that don't actually do anything in 40k. So you could make it so that in Kill Team you really cared who had your scything talons and who had your like feeding tendrils and who had your armored carapace and all this thing, and then in 40k you wouldn't care. You just have the same models that could just be used as a squad of Gene Stealers. And yes, you could do that with the existing kit. I have an impression that the existing Gene Stealer Pure Strain kit isn't that great. But certainly the lictors, they're going to do a plastic lictor. I think it would just be a good vehicle to release those models. So now we've gone through all the teams, so I'm going to give you my final predictions for this round of speculation. I think the next two plastic teams are going to be some veteran intercessors and some Vanguard organisms. That's my marker down. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I think we might see Chaos Demons, Deathguard, Drukhari or Necrons coming up in White Dwarf. I don't think we'll see all of those soon, but those are all kind of things that I think could be served well by a White Dwarf. Things that I think will need to eventually come in form of a new plastic kit, but won't make the next box. Grey Knights, Kroot and Custodes. Now the last thing I want to touch on before I go is some people have taken that graphic that I used on the first slide and went, we're going to have a box every quarter until the end of time. They said they're doing 4 boxes. I think after the 4 boxes, they might do something different. I stand by my suggestion that they're going to do a compendium. Compendium's the wrong word, I guess, an annual, right? And they're going to collect all the various White Dwarf lists because they're going to go off print otherwise, give you somewhere to buy those. They're also probably going to put in an extra list or two to make it so that people have already collected all the White Dwarves and don't particularly just want to rebuy them or are still getting something when they buy the book. I think a book like that, an annual, would be a good place to put out rules for things that are a bit more sideways to the main game. So they decided that they were going to bring back rules for the Galapox Infected, or the Star Striders, perhaps alongside a made-to-order re-release of those plastics. That would be a sort of place you'd find things like that, as well as perhaps some new narrative rules, maybe some new match play missions, those kinds of things. That's what I think is going to come after we've had that first year, and then who knows, maybe we go back onto these big boxes. Maybe they decide to pivot and go somewhere else with the release cycle. So those are my predictions for the remainder of year 1 of the current version of Kill Team. I hope you found the video interesting. Once this is uploaded, I'm actually going to be disconnecting my computer because I'm going to be moving house very shortly. So I might not be as quick replying in the comments as usually I am, but please do leave a comment. I will get to them eventually. The channel is still small enough that I can respond to every single comment. And by all means, if you enjoyed the video and you'd love to see more of these videos, or perhaps you've already watched a few, please subscribe. Subscribing really helps small channels like mine. And that will be really helpful to me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. And if you're watching this on the Friday it goes up, have a great weekend as well. Okay, cheerio everybody. Bye bye.